Hey guys, what's up? It's Jonathan with One Big Impact. Today's video is the 3 top extreme tips for weight loss. Now, these things are not unhealthy, they're not horrible, they're not hard, they're just ways of changing your life. So let's get started without any further ado. So, number 1 is actually stop drinking your calories. Now, I was looking some stuff up. I haven't drinking soda for years, knock on wood. I haven't touched the stuff. But I used to be like a huge energy drink guy or whatever, and the calories add up really quick. I did look them up yesterday. For like a 1 can of pop or fizzy drink or wherever you are in the world, you got 150 calories, as well as 41 grams of carbs, 41 grams of sugar, and what that equates to, and remember, your allotted intake of sugar, or supposedly acceptable intake of sugar, is only 6 teaspoons. 1 can of 12-ounce soda is 10 teaspoons. Now, that's just 1 soda a day. If you're a soda drinker, which I used to be, you're not drinking 1 soda a day. I used to start out the day with a 64-ounce fountain drink from like Circle K or whatever. Well, I did the math on that. That's 799.95 calories per drink. That's just 1 drink. What you have to realize is that adds up so quick. That's literally almost half of your intake. For a girl, that's half of your intake of food for the day. You literally can drink 1 more of those and eat nothing or drink nothing else throughout the whole day, and you're completely full. So you have to remember, drinking your calories is extremely dangerous. Change about 90% of what you're drinking to water. If you do have to, and I'm not saying these are good because they're going to have artificial sugars and things like that, but if you do have to get something fizzy, get one of those like flavored waters, or like the glacier ice drinks. Try, like Crystal said, the Bai drink, B-A-I drink. I actually tried one for the first time. It's like a juice, but they have enough sugar alcohols to where it's only like 1 net carb and there's no actual sugar in it, and it's actually pretty nice. Don't do it all the time. Make it an every once in a while thing, but just remember that don't drink your calories. That's probably the most important thing that people don't realize where they're screwing up. There's a direct correlation between overconsumption of sugar and calories through your caloric intake being all drinks, to the correlation between that and actually excessive weight gain. Many of us, many of us are going to drink a fizzy drink or a soda and chill. So if you're pulling in that much energy through calories and everything like that, you need to literally drink that pop and go run a marathon. If you're not, which most of us aren't, you should not be consuming that much energy through sugar and stuff like that. So if you're going to do that, if you have to, if you are the type of person that has to wake up and have a Pepsi in the morning, after you have that Pepsi, go be active and go do something. I'm not recommending you do that, but if you're the type of person that's not going to ever give it up, many of us aren't going to give up certain things, then your ass needs to suffer for that drink. Like you're going to run bleachers for an hour or whatever. You need to be expelling that energy. Now, another big thing, if you don't have one of these, go get this. This is like $5–10 bucks on Amazon. You need to be able to, right there, food diary, you need to be keeping track, because many of us aren't necessarily lying to ourselves about, you're like, oh, well, I only consume 1,000 calories a day, and I'm willing to bet that that's bullshit, and you don't even know that it's bullshit. So get a food diary. Like an egg, a simple egg. Everybody thinks an egg's good for you. Yeah, it is, but it's 80 calories, 78 calories, a cup of cheese, a small drink, a little snack. Some snacks are like 300 to 500 calories, no problem. So you need to be in a caloric deficit, but you can't be in a caloric deficit and understand what you're drinking or consuming as far as calories if you're not keeping track of that. You don't have to do this forever, but at least till you get an understanding of what things are valued at as far as calories. Okay, so next is going to be actually, and you guessed it, number 2 is portion size. I give people crap all the time about how much they're eating versus what they probably should be eating. So if you just grab something off the shelf and you're just like, that's my stuffing my face noise. That's the noise I make when I'm in the cupboard. No, I'm just kidding, sorry. But if you're eating off of the normal plates, like something like this, you're probably eating too much of everything. So the first tip I would say is to get rid of those old plates and get something that's much smaller, between 9 and 10 inches. Other than that, if you grab like a can like this, you're gonna say, oh, you know what, chunky soup, dude, I just pour it in a freaking big old bowl like that and mow it down. It's whatever. Well, the sad thing is there's actually 2 servings per can. So the important thing is that you're not only picking up these things, but make sure you're only making enough for what you're actually supposed to be eating. So I grew up and we always wanted to eat everything on our plate. We didn't want to be wasteful, and I've also taught that to my kids, and we literally do go above and beyond what we should be eating because we feel, you know, and especially people that are poor, you feel bad being wasteful for food because you don't have the money to buy more, or there's people that you feel bad for that don't have the money to buy food or whatever. So that's very important that you have to get rid of that mentality. And if you can't get rid of that mentality, I understand it's for many people it's been many years or decades that type of behavior has been instilled in them. So what you do instead is only pour out about half of this can, and I'm not recommending necessarily that you eat this product, but pour out half of this can, cook half the can, throw a little plastic bag on top of it, and save the rest for another day. Otherwise, you're gonna pour the whole thing out and you're gonna eat the whole damn thing. Like, I'm not stupid, you're not stupid, it's just how we're built. Well, many of us, not everybody. And there's a lot of people that couldn't finish a can like this, and I understand that. That's completely okay and normal. Another thing, so like this almond milk, I love this stuff. This stuff is great. But the thing that you need to realize is in very many instances, this is actually going to be 1 cup per serving. And a lot of people are like, yeah, you know, I'll just fill up a cup. And that's not really the case. So this is an average size cup in my house. And this is 1 cup worth of stuff. So who the hell goes in the kitchen and says, you know what, I'm gonna get a nice cold drink of 1/4 of a cup? Nobody. So if you need to, buy smaller cups. They have little tiny, I don't want to say tiny like you're going to be starved or something, but they have little small cups that you can get that are shaped like normal cups, and you'll be surprised you're actually going to be filled up just like you would with a larger cup. You just won't be overly full. So the next thing is, I'm pretty famous, like I can mow down a whole thing of macaroni and cheese by myself. And a lot of people are like, well, that's too much food. But I have you realize a lot of people like myself that are overweight are always struggling with, you prepare more food than what you're prepared to eat, but you feel bad, so you'll always go back for either seconds or maybe even a couple extra spoonfuls, and those calories can add up throughout the day. So for instance, this box of macaroni and cheese, it's only about 3/4 of a cup is a serving, and it says about 3 servings per. So a good general rule of thumb is to maybe get a large Tupperware, and when you buy macaroni and cheese, if you do or whatever, and these are just tips, this isn't low carb, this is just in general, pour them into a Tupperware, and then keep your cheese sauces in there too, and just use them as you go, and only use like 3/4 of a cup and then some cheese sauce. That way you're not being forced or tricked into eating more, because honestly, food manufacturers don't give a shit how much you eat. The more you eat, the more they make. It's all about profit, you know what I mean? And you can't blame them. Like, it's not their fault you don't have self-control, or that we can't stop eating or whatever. It's like, it's just the way it is. We like nice clothes, so the manufacturers create cool, hip clothing, and it's basically the same thing. You can't blame somebody else for the decisions you make. Another thing that I wanted to show you real quick, and I don't eat cereal by any means. It's not big for me. But there was once upon a time I ate this stuff by the tons, and I would get this all day long, this nice sized cereal bowl. It's always like a score when you find a good cereal bowl. You're like, yeah man, that's my cereal bowl. I get a good amount of cereal in there and I'm gonna eat right before bed and I'm gonna pass out. Well, you're gonna pass out fat as fuck because this is literally a serving of Fruity Pebbles right here. That, barely covering the bottom, is a serving of cereal. Now, how many of us, including myself, have just filled it all the way up, or even halfway? Halfway would be like 5 servings. So if you did the math on that, just that bowl of cereal is your entire caloric intake for a whole day. So it's important that you realize what you're eating versus what you're supposed to be eating as far as portion control. Another thing is, a big thing for me when I went to bed that I noticed, and I don't want to say I like to eat and be full when I go to sleep. But I noticed a lot of the times when I eat those sugary things or overfill myself or whatever, I used to go to sleep and I would have nightmares, or I'd sleep horrible and I'd snore like crazy, or I'd have tons of acid reflux. And I like have a list like marital problems. My wife used to hate that I snored so bad, and it was literally because I just overate. And as you start losing weight, you're going to notice you're going to start sleeping better. You're going to stop snoring so much. You're going to start tossing and turning. The nightmares are going to go away. Your mental clarity is going to be really nice. You're going to fall asleep faster and sleep longer, sleep more efficiently through the night. So portion control has a lot to do with it. If you were only eating this with a cup of milk, literally you're not even going to be halfway, and that is going to keep you sustained full, and you're only going to get that portion, like the 120 calories versus whatever it would be if you actually filled it up. So be careful with portion sizes. Just because they sell you something in a certain size does not mean that's one serving, and that's extremely dangerous. So always check the labels. Read the labels. Okay, so number 3 that I believe is really important, probably the most important when you're on any kind of diet or exercise plan, is actually getting out there and being active. Now, you don't have to be like a pro bodybuilder or whatever, but 30 to 45 minutes a day of actively getting out there and worrying about your health, or consciously doing cardiovascular work or strength training, is actually going to help you and assist in weight loss. Like, if you want to see results faster, get out there and get active, definitely. There's not going to be anything in any way, shape, or form that is going to excel your weight loss, improve your health, than actually getting out there and enjoying the weather. So throw on your favorite tunes, and remember that it doesn't matter what you're doing. You don't have to be an Olympic runner or anything. Just simply get out there, throw on your favorite tunes, and take off. Something else that you also have to remember is, I say this all the time, be stronger than your excuses. You're gonna say, well, I don't have the money for a gym membership, or I don't have the time. Many of us live in neighborhoods where actually things like this, where little parks and tracks are located, or even just get out there and run down the street. Like, don't give me that crap that you don't have what it takes. And just remember that each person's gonna have a totally different skill level. I just had surgery, so I can't do a ton of these push-ups, but I'm actually out here doing them. So remember that just because you can't do 500 of them does not mean that you can't do any of them. So definitely get out there and be active. Okay, so something I've noticed for sure is, no matter how funny you think you look or whatever you're doing when you're running, nobody's gonna make fun of you. And if they are, they're just joking with you. For the most part, nobody's ever gonna give you a hard time, because honestly, we all look kinda semi-ridiculous when we're working out. We got the hardcore face or whatever, so don't let that stress you out. Learn to laugh at yourself and have a good time. That's what exercising and getting in shape's about. So another thing you're gonna have to remember is that it's not necessarily a race, but you do want to challenge yourself. If last week you were able to do 20 push-ups, this week do 25, just to make your body change. Strength training is definitely an important factor, as well as cardio. They're two totally different things. One's gonna work your cardiovascular system, your lungs, your heart, and stuff like that. And then strength training is definitely gonna make you have a stronger core and a stronger body. So today I did 205 sit-ups, and I'm doing more now. So challenge yourself. No matter what your goals are or what your strength level is, just remember that it's not necessarily about who's doing more or whatever, but just personally challenge yourself each and every day to become stronger and a better you. And I think the biggest tip of all is just to make sure that you don't get down on yourself. There's going to be times where you're way up here on a super big high and you're having tons of achievements and everything, and you're losing weight and you're looking better and you're feeling great, and that's awesome. But I promise you, you may just have sometimes you're gonna have days where you're feeling bad, or you ate something horrible, or you just can't make it to the gym or whatever. And remember that all you can do is the best that you can do. There are going to be those setbacks, and that's perfectly acceptable because you're human. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't get down. And if you do, just make sure you lift yourself back up. A lot of the times, if you are feeling down, something that does help you is getting out there and getting active, because then you're actually doing something about it as you're feeling bad about it. So it counteracts any bad feelings. Just make sure, keep positive people around you, do positive things. And if you have friends or family that are looking to achieve their goals as well, help them. Not only is that going to get you more excited about your goals, but that's going to also get you further within yours, because I promise you there's going to be a day where those people come back and they teach you so many amazing, great things. You guys, I hope this video helped you, and this is my top 3 tips for extreme weight loss. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and remember to spread love, not hate. Peace.